Look at him. He's just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A, and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy the takes. Says her whose head burns from hearing horror stories. Get the gasoline, won't be at the
Hey everybody, welcome back to Take Her Wide. This is episode 275. It is Monday, June the 24th, which is fucking crazy. Halfway through the year, Jesus. At times like this, it's like, oh, I can't wait, for summer, but it's like, wow, I'm actually in the middle of summer right now. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully the barbecues are working and work doesn't suck and all that shit. There's some cool stuff happening this summer. Sabatini, we're going to be doing Heavy Montreal on Sunday, July the 28th, I believe. And we're on at 3:20. Pretty big show. Pretty crazy that we're doing it, but it's going to be a really fun experience. And what else? Grabert's got a couple shows coming up. We have Windsor and Kitchener the weekend of July 5th and 6th. A few more things in the fall to announce, but mostly just keeping busy with the podcast. And with that being said, if this is your first time listening, I bang out some sponsors real quick. These people help me get the show to you, and if you can follow them and give them a like or a message or buy their stuff, that'd be great. I believe in what these people are doing, and they believe in this show, so it's kind of a nice reciprocal cycle of support. So if you want to be part of that, just listen in and support, grab, buy, do whatever it is these people are doing, offering. So let me start off with Brewed Biscuits, all natural spent grain pet treats. These people are located out of Norfolk County, and what they do is basically they upcycle local high quality spent grains. The brewers' spent grains are the oats and barley that have been steeped in hot water to remove the sugar. It's called the wort, I believe, and it's what they use to make the beer. But these spent grains, these people have learned to upcycle them to turn them into pet treats. They're 20% protein, they're 70% dietary fiber, good for puppies, good for old dogs. They're slow baked in a commercial kitchen. They don't have any alcohol or hops or corn or salt or sugar or additives or any preservatives. Super natural. Ocho loves them. My dog loves them. And they have 3 flavors: peanut butter, pumpkin sweet potato, and apple cinnamon. So if you want to try it out, try out some new pet treats for your dog, get a hold of these guys. Go to twospentgrains.ca. That's TWO spentgrains.ca. You can order online. It's not crazy expensive. And it's a good way to support small business. So Brewed Biscuits. Find them on Instagram, social media, all that. Next, if you're a fan of hot sauce and you want to try the best hot sauce that you probably will ever try Heartbeat Hot Sauce. These guys are on season 6 of Hot Ones. If you don't know what Hot Ones is, just go to YouTube, type in Hot Ones, and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a great interview show. And they interview guests with hot wings, and Heartbeat was, I think, the second of 7 or 8 on that year's panel of hot wings. It's my buddy Al and his partner Nancy. They're company from Thunder Bay, and Al's he has an can't say an art or an eye for the basically what I'm trying to say is Al is legit. He's a chef. This was a side hustle that just kind of blew up. It grew bigger and bigger, and this is their full-time gig, and it's no surprise that they're doing well. Al has an eye for business, maybe, or a keen sense of how to run his business, I think is what I was trying to say earlier. And they've recently collaborated with Heatonist to create a Lion's Mane Piri Piri. I'm probably saying that wrong, but those, again, are the Hot Ones people up in New York. And if you like hot sauce, you need to try it, basically. I have bottles on me in Cambridge or 519. If you're in that area, we can meet up and find them on social media. You can buy it across Canada in most stores, Safeways, Metros, stuff like that. Just go to heartbeathotsauce.com, find more information there. It's fucking delicious, basically, is what you need to know. Next, we have Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. He's at 3121 King Street East. If you're looking for a car salesman that you can trust with a big purchase like that, go see Rigo. Rigo's an old friend of mine, really is. One of the first friends I had when I moved to Cambridge. And he'll make the process easy, fun, and I trust this dude wholeheartedly. So find him on Instagram, find him on Facebook. I think his one truck's handle is Orion040. or Orion040, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure if you start typing that in Instagram, it'll pop up. But you can see his truck, and just he's a family man. He's a great dude, and you can buy your car off him. So find him, 3121 King Street East in Kitchener. A couple more here. Ironclad Graphics. If you don't know who to get to print your next run of shirts or koozies or enamel pins or stickers or embroidered patches, Ironclad Graphics does it all. They're out in Kingston, but don't let that turn you off from hitting them up. They ship coast to coast. They're competitive with their pricing. And I've been working with them for like 10, 15 years. Legit people, do good work. Hit them up, ironcladgraphics.com. Next, we have Dapper Beard Oil. If you have a beard and you want to try some beard oil, there's a lot out there, but I vouch for Dapper Beard Oil. Dapper Beard Oil is a company from Ottawa run by my friend Andrew. And what he does is he uses 100% natural ingredients. It's all ethically sourced. It helps hydrate. It helps repair your beard. It's antibacterial. Reduces beard dandruff. It's just a legit product. He takes a lot of care in making his business look and, run well. And the product itself is a great product. So if you want to save on some money, use the promo code TAKERWIDE free ship, and you'll save on shipping on the way out. So do that. Buy some beard oil, support a small business. And lastly, we have Wellington Brewery. They're Canada's oldest independently owned microbrewery. They provide me with the beers. They have delicious beers. The Rhubarb Saison is the most recent addition that I've been sipping on, but the Upside IPAs are great. The Kick and Back, the SPAs. It's all good. So wellingtonbrewery.ca, find them. Okay, so thank you for listening to the ads again. Find these people, like them, share their stuff. All right, this week I'm speaking to Kyle from Cellos. Cellos are a band from Windsor. They're a noise rock band. Sabs did some shows with them last year as part of our 11-year anniversary and Goodbye Audio record launch. Fantastic fucking band, and they have a new split single coming out with Not Of. This is all No List family. I think there's another label involved, but just an amazing band, amazing group of dudes. It's kind of a bummer we only got to do 6 shows with them, but I'm sure there'll be more. They have some dates coming up that we'll ring off, but yeah, excited to do this. This is 275 with Kyle. We're here.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I'm glad too, man. And like I was saying, it's good to see you, because the last time I saw you was in Montreal, was it?
That would have been in Montreal, yeah.
What a fucking gig, that was.
That was the best, man.
Fucking Christ.
Actually,
man.
Cellos jammed today. We were talking about how awesome it was, because we're going back. We're playing Turbo House in a month from yesterday.
Yeah.
So the 20th, July 20th, we're back over there.
So
we're pretty pumped to get back in there.
Hell yeah, man. That place is awesome. And that show, like I was introduced to the Pale Mare guys that night, like the first band. And they ended up being pretty cool guys. And like, I feel like the lineup with them, and then it was not that, like, we kind of curated it, but like, fucking Christ, man, like crushing all night.
Yeah.
You guys sounded so good, man.
Thanks, man. I think everyone killed it that night. Like, every band was bringing their A game that night for sure.
I think so. Yeah. Especially with Shallow, right? Like, I kind of...
Yeah.
Well, I'm not... Like, if there's a drummer who's fantastic like Tony is, it's a bit intimidating, but it's more of a pleasure to watch him play. Just like... It actually makes me, like, stoked to play. It doesn't make me, like, scared to play.
Yeah, he's great. You're great. Everyone was great.
We're all great. That's tight though. Are you guys doing that with Not Of in Montreal too?
Yeah, we're doing just a Toronto Montreal weekend with them.
Okay.
So
fuck yeah,
should be
man.
a good time.
Hell yeah! Is that their first time in Montreal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be there first.
Did you like?
Yeah, because they're like us and they don't really tour, but they'll play weekend shows when they can and stuff. So they haven't made it up there yet.
Cool. Well, I'm sure that'll be good. Like, I feel that show that we did with you, like, you guys will probably draw a good little bit too.
I hope so. Like, we're doing the show with Broken Chord too, so
perfect.
I'm sure they're like they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah, they do, man. The split though, man. Like, I think I'm so busy that like life flies by me. So it's like, oh shit, like your record's great, the Not Of record is amazing, and now you guys are doing a split.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess like I knew that they had extra songs from their session. They had like basically a whole other LP of songs that
Fuck.
didn't make it. Like I think John said they had like 7 or 8 tracks left over, something like that. Some they just didn't really like, but they had these 3 that they liked, and we recorded 3 songs just because we had 3 songs and we wanted to, like, we like doing shorter recording sessions because it's just a little easier for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I talked to John. I thought it would be a good fit, and then talked to Lee, since we've both bands have worked with him, and he was down. So we're doing it. It's kind of it's a split between the 2 bands, but also between 2 labels, because myself and my friend Josh have made a label just to release our own music, really.
Cool. What is that called again? No.
It's Harbor House.
Harbor House. Okay.
So Harbor House is a place. It's the place where we actually recorded those songs too. So we just named the label after it.
Okay. So all 4 people are going in on it, type thing?
Yeah. So it makes it easier for everybody. The expenses are divided, and work is divided too. Like it's been nice because so Not Of is John and Dave is a really good artist. So he did the art and layout for it. And John is just a good writer, and he knows a lot of people. So he's talking to people like for publicity and stuff.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So everybody's kind of doing something. We've divvied up jobs among the 2 bands and the 2 labels. So it's been easy.
That's awesome,
good.
man. So these tracks are new tracks? 3 new tracks?
They're new tracks, yeah. These will be the first tracks with Vince actually on the record.
Cool.
Because he joined the band right before we put out our last LP. So he's not on it, but that's part of the reason that we just recorded these songs, is because we had a few songs. They were the first ones we've written with him. So we didn't know what we were going to do with them, but
that's exciting.
They're going to see the light of day very soon.
Yeah, I'm really fucking choked because I'm going to be out of town. I'm like going to my brother's wedding for that show. And that's the type of show that like will get me out, you know, you guys and Not Of. I shit the bed so hard because Not Of was in Toronto with Shallow and Intensive Care somewhat recently, and like kind of kicked myself in the ass for that. So I saw this coming up. It's like, okay, sweet. But I'm like in Winnipeg, so I'm going to miss the show.
Yeah, that's the way it is when you play in the summertime, though. People, like, that's when it's wedding season.
I said, I'm going for a wedding, yeah.
Like, that's just the way it goes, man. So, no worries. We'll be back. I prefer to play in the fall, but, like, I'm a teacher, so I have the summer off to do whatever. So we don't play a ton in the summer, but we'll try to, like, make a couple weekends of it.
Was that hard to do in the fall, like the November dates for you to get off?
No, because at that point I was on, like, I'm a supply teacher, so I go between, like, sometimes I'm day to day, and I was day to day then. Okay. So all I have to do is just not answer the phone if I get called in, if I want to, or I could book time off easily. Like, I don't get paid time off when I'm day to day like that, but it's easy to, like, you know, just I literally don't have to pick up the phone and I'm off. So
that's awesome, man. It makes it a lot easier. And do you want to like do more? Because I love what you guys are doing as far as like being able to stay, you know, relevant and release music. But I don't know. I thought about how you guys did that in November, and I'm like, that's sick. Like money to eat and nice places to stay and no real, you know, crazy commitment. You can enjoy. You can like really enjoy the shows, but then also like come home in time and enjoy your home.
Yeah. I mean, part of the reason that we keep our band 3 people is because it's just easier to plan stuff like that, you know, work around people's schedules. So, but it's still difficult, even with there only being 3 of us. We all have pretty busy, normal lives with jobs, and Dave's got 2 kids now, so he's got a brand new baby at home. So I would like to play more often, but I'm also comfortable like doing what we're doing and just playing like weekends every few months. I'm good with that. I'm not really interested in touring and doing long drives and playing weekday shows.
You did all that.
I've done that with what's that?
I said you've done all that. Like you.
Yeah. Like I was never in a band that was like a really heavy touring band, but I've toured. Like we've done in old bands. I've toured out west a few times, out east a whole bunch of times. But that's like about a decade ago now. when it was much easier. Like I was comfortable at that point quitting a job if I needed to, or whatever I needed to do. I was happy, but now I own a house and I'm limited in that regard. But I mean, I would always like to do more than what we do, but I think we're pretty busy right now. Like, and we're also like kind of more interested in just writing and recording than anything. That's where our heads are at right now. So,
well, that's the funnest part for me.
Yeah,
it's like shows are fun, but if I play a bad show, that really bums me out. But like I was talking to Mark about this like I'm confident in my ability to create, but I'm not as confident in my ability to perform. This is like an ongoing theme all the time on this fucking podcast. But like the creating part is so much fun because I'm by myself, or if I'm with Mark. Like it's when you're young. Like, you know, when you started, that shit was so amazing. Like, I remember, like, even doing a cover song with somebody, like Silverchair or something, and like, oh, sick, like, we can do it. Like, creating even a cover from nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's what, like, keeps us still doing it, I think.
Yeah, totally. Us too, man.
You know?
Like, you know, we have a really good thing going, too, right now with recording music because we do it at the Harbor House. At least that's where our last session was, and that's where we're going to do our next full length. And so it's this house. Like, I don't actually live in Windsor. I live in Kingsville, Ontario, so it's south of Windsor, along Lake Erie. And there's a house that's right along the lake. So it's not right in Kingsville proper, but it's about 20 minutes from me. And nobody lives in this house, but it's owned by his fiance's dad, and he just kind of lets us do our thing in there. So we have this house. It's just it's a house for recording or jamming or whatever you want to do.
A spare house.
So it's like become our studio basically.
That's
so we
sick.
can do that whenever. We can record late nights because the neighbors are not really around.
So you did the last record there, you said?
Well, actually, the full length we did at a studio here in Kingsville,
where
we did all our other records. But the record that's coming out, this upcoming 7-inch, was done at the Harbor House. So
I wonder, do you think that like having, because you can just go there, it's not like a pay by the hour type thing. Like
no, we just show up. Like as long as somebody's around to let us in, like it's Josh and his good friend Andy that have keys. So as long as someone's around to let us in, we can go in there. And he's a really good, talented not producer, but like, you know, he records us. So I guess.
I wonder if
he would probably
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I don't know if he would be comfortable with me calling him a producer. He hits record and mixes it.
I wonder, like, as far as, I don't know what that's like to have that kind of freedom to record your own shit. Like that could maybe be a problem because you just could forever be in there, right? Like.
Well, it could, yeah. But also, I think our personalities, like, we're not, like, too meddlesome with stuff like that. Like, you capture the best energy if you get in there and, like, bang it out in a couple takes. So, I mean, we'll probably, because we have the luxury of just recording this kind of whenever, we'll add more, like, instrumentation to what we do. Like, you know, when you're in a studio and you're paying by the hour, maybe you don't want to, like, be dicking around with organs and synthesizers. But I like that stuff. And I like having the ability to do that. I think we'll add some more sounds to the next thing for sure.
Man, I wish that, so Sab's, like, Sad Parade, that record we did, was kind of that case where we could just fuck around in the studio. And it's a very cool record. It's got tons of sounds and stuff, but I'd almost like that freedom again to, you know, be more of a mature musician and see what comes of it. Because that was a fucking, like, 09, like 10 years ago, and all the shit we learned in the studio, and even as a band, what we could apply to, I don't know, what the next record could sound like with all that extra shit. Because it could be, not, this isn't the right word, but an abuse of power, you know, to like go in there and be like, let's fucking add a kazoo here, you know, and then it gets out of control and it just becomes
yeah. You have to be able to like edit yourselves, but I mean, we're still Well, we just are still like a heavy band. We just want to write good riffs. That's the main thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Write good riffs and have catchy parts. So it's not like we're going to turn into like, you know, some kind of whatever.
Avant-garde
Like
thing.
there'll be like, I like to add textures to songs, but I don't like to like, we're not going to write songs based around like an arpeggiator or something.
Word. Do you hold songs like dear? Like, will you use everything, or are you the opposite where you can toss a song easily?
No, we've tossed stuff, but I mean, not much. But no, we toss things. We're more likely to just like, if we're not really happy with something, just try to manipulate it until we like it. And that usually works. Like, we've got a song. So we have like a full record written right now that we demoed.
Okay.
And a couple of those songs have been around for a few years, but like just weren't clicking. We just tried different things, slow it down or change the riff a little bit or change the drum part. We can usually just manipulate something into working, I guess.
So how many tracks are on the new record? Are going to be on the new record?
We demoed 7.
7? Okay.
So it'll probably stay 7 unless, I mean, maybe we might write another one before then. I'm not sure. Like we're planning on getting in and trying to do it properly in July, kind of just after that little run of shows.
Okay.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Like we could do whatever we want, right? Having that freedom, maybe we could like write one there. So I don't know. But we have 7 songs that are pretty much done.
And like the oldest one of the 7, do you worry that it'll be too old? Like as far as it's not the most recent version of yourselves? Like I don't know how long, like you said, a couple songs are a couple years old, but that's the thing I think about. Like fuck, because me and Mark, we had like 8 songs done and we scrapped them all, and now we have like another 7. But now it's almost like fuck, the first of the 7 is starting to get old, and like that's not the best representation of who we are as a band. Do you kind of go through that too with songs?
Sort of. Like for me, I'm more like by the time a record actually comes out, that's when I start to feel like, oh, that's the old shit. Like it's new to everybody else, but it's so old to me after going through the mixing and the mastering and everything, and you have to hear it so often that I'll be burnt out on a song on songs before the album is actually released. But as far as like before recording them, I think no, I don't think that we'll feel like they're old songs because we kind of keep changing things just a little bit until they're actually recorded. So it's not exactly the same as it was like, 2 years ago when we first started writing it.
Do you guys like how like I'm curious to how it works with songwriting. It's kind of a lowball question because it's like, you just come up with ideas, but is it a thing where everyone like gets a fair say on what to chop, or do you like, are you like, here's a song that I wrote with a drum machine and stuff?
I never do that, really.
No? Why not?
I just come up with some riffs that work well together, and like I rarely even have to like ask Dave to play a certain way. We kind of just know what each other is gonna do, and like we talk about it a little bit, but usually he kind of gets it without me having to communicate too much. And then Vince has only been in the band for, I want to say, like 3 years. But Vince is so good. Like he's kind of the same, but he still wants to communicate about things more. Like he's the kind of guy's like, is this okay? Do you want me to change this note? And my answer is almost always like, no, you're doing fine. You're good. Because and Dave and Vince lock in really well together too, because they played in other bands for many years before Cellos was a thing. So, I don't know. Like I just come up with some riffs. We try them out. Sometimes actually we've written songs around Dave's drum parts too. We'll write a drum part. One of the tracks on the last record Dave was saying was that. Like, I'm terrible with song titles. Yeah, that's Bury Me on Highway 3. That one that's a drum part. I just wrote a riff to it. And there's one on the 7-inch that's coming out too that's based around a drum idea that I just put a riff to. And then it evolved from there, but that's how it started, was like, oh, I got this drum part and he'll play it and I'll just jam along.
That when you're writing for a record, is it like, do you have like a theme, a bubble that the record's going to be about? Like, because if you're writing lyrics, and I'm not a lyricist, I think it's so hard to like try to make it a cohesive thing versus like, here's 7 totally separate, unrelated songs. Like, do you make an effort to try to keep a theme, or you just like
I mean,
not
not really, but like, let's say, so if we have a batch of like, 4 or 5 songs written, we'll know, okay, so we have like, 4 pretty slow ones and 1 mid-tempo one, so we need some upbeat stuff. So we'll make an effort to like, fill it out in that way. But I'm never thinking like very conceptually about like making lyrics connect. That I don't really care about that, at least at this point. I mean, maybe eventually we might want to try to do something like that, but for us, it's just like write a batch of songs. Okay, so these songs are, really noisy and chaotic, so maybe we should write a mellow one next. Like, but that's the extent of that. We don't plan too much.
It's more of a feel thing, like balancing it out, and I guess
yeah,
not making it
like
too.
When we get close to recording, then we'll start thinking, okay, like how are these tracks gonna fit together? Are we missing something? Is there something we want to do to one of them to make it, balance everything out? But
how does art fall into that, as far as like with these new tracks? Do you already have the album artwork ready, or what will be the process to getting what you're gonna pick?
I don't know. We don't really think about art until everything's done. Like, we're just like, let's get the record recorded well, and then when we're in the mixing stage, we start talking about that. So like this 7-inch, it was really easy because it was just, we let Dave do that. Dave from Not Of, he just ran with it. He had his own concepts and he came up with something awesome. We were all into it. But that was just totally from his creative place. But our full length, that art was a friend of ours who we liked her collage style. And so we kind of let her do her thing too. Like, she and I had some conversations about what kind of themes are in songs, but really brief. Like, there's nothing too direct there. We let her do her thing too, and she came up with something pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's it almost, when I saw it first, I thought Dave did it, like from Not Of. It's kind of that, because I know that's his sort of thing. He's doing that collage.
Yeah, he does collage art too.
Yeah. It's very cool. And is the artwork I'm just on my other computer here, my good one that's recording this right now. Is it the one with like cellos and Not Of, the lettering's all spread out? Like, that's
it's
the artwork
all scrambled
for the 7-inch?
Yeah, it's scrambled on the cover, and then the back cover is like, there's like 9 square panels. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay.
I actually have the record, like I have the packaging right now. We just don't have the vinyl yet, but yeah, it looks great. I'm happy with it.
Oh, awesome. Is that like a lesson learned from experience of getting the physical before? Actually, but it's funny. So you're missing it, but you're having a show booked. I've done that where we've done that, where it's like, here's the album launch, and then day of, you pick up the records.
Well, that actually happened to us with our full length. I had to pick them up. We got them the day of, and we didn't even get all of them. So I pressed with Gotta Groove Records for that one.
Ohio, right?
And they're awesome, but they had like a little bit of a delay. So we were really cutting it close to begin with, and then they had a delay on their end because one of their machines wasn't working properly, because that one was released in August, and I guess like when it's really hot, those old machines break down, obviously. So they had a problem with one of their machines. So we had a slight delay, but they were really cool, and they were able to send me like a one box so we could have enough to do our album release. And then I had to go get the rest of them a week later. So this time around, they know our release date, and they're cool with that stuff. Like, they'll work with you on, if you have an ideal release date, they'll kind of make that work. So I just did packaging in Canada. Like, I didn't realize how expensive putting out a 7-inch is right now with our horrible exchange rate and everything. It's pretty gnarly. So we did our packaging in Canada just to save a bit of money on that.
How much?
Because I don't really want to have to charge a bunch of money for a split 7-inch.
Yeah. Well, shit. That minor split that we just did.
Yeah.
I think we really should be charging a lot more than we are to
what
cover
are you guys
the cost.
Charging for that?
We're charging $7, but it costs more than $7.
Yeah, well, we've had a back and forth about it. We're gonna charge 10.
I think that's
Um,
fair.
yeah, well, it'll come with bonus tracks too, digital bonus tracks. So it's like 3 songs from each band. That's pretty. That's a record, you know. That's
I think
like
so.
adds up to be a full length if you take into account those extra tracks.
Hmm.
But yeah, the cost is pretty crazy right now.
Well, I think I like seeing that covers for shows are going up, and even like
Yeah.
a T-shirt is $20. You know,
Hmm.
like as the recipient of that cash, I don't think people have a problem with paying 20 for a vinyl, 20 for a shirt, 10 for a 7-inch.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way it is. I was kind of like nervous about it, so we talked about it. Like, I was like, listen, our cost is going to be like, it's higher than I want it to be. So we all agreed among the bands and label people for this that we're fine paying $10 for a 7-inch that looks and sounds good with bands we like. You know, it's $10. What's really the difference between $7 and $10?
Yeah, people will be
Just pocket change.
yeah. People will give you a 10 anyways. You know.
Yeah. And we don't want to have to always have like rolled loonies for shit like that. Because everything else we sell is either 15 or $20. So
Yeah. That's exciting. When is the official date then? Is it the weekend of those shows?
yeah, we're gonna release it on the 19th. So there'll be like some exclusive streaming stuff happening before that. And,
Okay.
we're gonna start announcing like all that stuff in the next week or two.
Okay. Well, this will go up, tomorrow. So I hope that's okay.
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, that's great, man.
I was gonna say about the 7-inch. Oh, did you guys always like? Did you go into it like not arguing, but having a discussion about a cassette versus a 7-inch? Because you could like we did that. We did the cassette split.
Right, yeah.
It sells. I don't know. Or were you guys
Yeah.
committed to a 7-inch?
I think we're pretty committed to a 7-inch because we are just kind of vinyl people, and everything we've done has been released on vinyl. So I feel like it would be like doing ourselves a disservice not to keep doing that. I mean, it is expensive and it takes a while, but it's cool to have, and that's just kind of like been our tradition. So we're just keeping that going.
I think it's also cool to have a decent job and a mortgage and like not bleed yourself dry to release an album. Like you might take a hit, but it's not. I don't know. I think it goes without saying that. Were you this kind of guy to like look to the future and like I need to sort my shit out because this music stuff might not pay my rent? I didn't do that, and I'm kind of like struggling to figure out my life. It's not that dramatic, but it's nice to have like a decent thing at home where you can afford to lose a little bit of money on a release. Like, did you do that? Were you looking ahead to the future when you were starting music?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really care that much when I was younger about any of that. I wasn't. I don't know. I guess I was comfortable just being poor and living shittily because when I was doing all that, I was still a student.
Okay.
So I could justify it like in that regard of like, well, I'm a student anyways, and students are poor, so whatever. Like, I was a bad student. I ended up making it work. Like, I'm a teacher now, so obviously that worked out. But I just would like, I'd drop out for a semester to go on tour if I needed to.
Okay.
So I was pretty gung-ho at that point, but no, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy with where I am right now. It's like being a teacher is a great gig to have if you want to play music. You get a lot of time off. It's not like super flexible about your time off. Obviously, you're relegated to summers off and March break or Christmas time or whatever. But that's a lot of time there.
Yeah.
And like, I don't work super long hours when I'm actually at school. I mean, there's a lot to take home, but I can do that. I can chip away at that sort of stuff, and I feel like I'm pretty free to do most musical things that I want to do right now. Still working.
Yeah, well, it's great, man. Like, I'm only asking these questions through the filter of my experiences, right? And when I was younger, it was really like betting the house on the crazy idea that music was going to become a thing. And I don't know, like the fact that you were a student and in school, where did that sort of because that's being responsible and real about it. I think I was super delusional in what music was and what like the potential of it could be. It's just like looking back, like thank fuck that you went to school and now you can do both, right? But was that your parents like you should do something, or you just knew that you should do something? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I guess like when I was like going to university was the only option I was ever really given. Like I was a pretty smart kid when I was really young, and it never came up that I could, like, it just was never a possibility in my head or in my parents' heads that I would do anything other than go to school, go to university. Like even college never really came up, which is silly because, you know, college, my friends who have gone to college and got skilled trades are making a bunch of money and doing really well and can still do things like this if they want to. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just always knew I like had to go to university. So I did. I dragged it out for a while because of playing music. Like I only went as a full-time student for 1 year, and then I just did part-time studies after that so that I could still work a bit and then play shows when I needed to. So,
well, I think your younger or your future self could look back and just be like, thank fuck I did that, you know? Like,
yeah,
definitely. I don't know how many people do it and don't. It's so crazy because you could be like, you know, a student age, whatever, early 20s, and your band could start to pick up and take off and become this thing that like, oh, for 3 years you are busy and making like minimum wage. But after, like, I don't know, it's pretty, our buddies who are like big timer musician guys, like, it's, it seems like it could be really stressful because that could be taken away so quickly. But that's part of the excitement too. It could happen. You could fucking make this your job if you really want it, I guess.
As much as like I'm comfortable with the way we do things and the way my life is, I am envious of people who just get to play music. I mean, that's great. I don't know that I ever felt it was really that realistic just to do that. Although I did for a little while just play music, but it was like I taught guitar lessons, and Dave and I kind of managed this place that was like rehearsal spaces and a recording studio, and we did group lessons and stuff. And so we were both, he and I for a little while worked together, and we were just, essentially we were musicians, like we were instructors, but we were playing music for a living. And that's kind of what got me into teaching, actually. Okay. I had finished my undergrad, and then I was just taking on a lot of guitar students, and thought I was pretty decent at it. And so it kind of gave me the motivation to go back to school to do teaching. But I mean, we weren't like touring heavily or anything. We were playing music really just kind of at home. But
well, how did you start? How, like, you know, when you're a kid, some people get into hockey, some people do other shit. Like, was it a friend or your parents were musicians? How did you come?
No, I don't come from a musical family, and I didn't really have friends who were musicians either. But I went to I always loved music. I've been obsessed with it like since I was a really young kid. And then when I went to about when I was in grade 5 or so, I started becoming obsessed with just guitars, like the way they looked. There was a music store right across from my school that we would try to sneak out of the schoolyard at lunch to go just look at guitars up on the wall. I played air guitar constantly at home. My parents didn't really want to buy me one right away. So I didn't get I started with bass, actually. I got a bass when I was in like grade 8. I get grade 7 or 8.
Your parents got it for you?
So, yeah. So around that time, I had met some people who were playing guitar. So that's why I started with bass, because I was like, oh, my friends play guitar already. So if I get a bass and learn it, we can jam. So I got a bass, a really shitty one when I was, I guess probably about 12.
Do you remember what it was? What kind it was?
Yeah, it was a Barracuda brand P bass, black Barracuda P bass. It weighed probably like 15 pounds, and the frets stuck out from the side, so it would like scratch your fingers up. It was the shittiest bass.
Do you still have it?
No, I got rid of it a long time ago. I don't even know what became of it. I probably sold it for like $50 or something.
So you get the bass, and
so I got that bass first, and I hated playing it, but I liked playing bass, but I hated playing that bass. So I got a Ibanez Sound Gear bass like probably a year later, and I just got rid of that Barracuda bass.
Uh-huh. Were you working? Were you a paper?
Yeah,
kid?
so that was I worked in the summer. So around here, I don't know if it's a thing anywhere else, but around here it's very common because we have a lot of cornfields in this region.
Okay.
To get a job, a lot of people's first job is corn detasseling. So you can get that job. You don't need any qualifications. So they hire like 14-year-olds or
Okay.
whatever. And you walk in cornfields and you just pull like corn tassels so that they can pollinate.
Okay.
It's a horrible, like absolutely awful way to spend a summer. But I did that and I saved up all my money for that Ibanez bass.
Sick. Now that bass,
just like headphones in, listening to whatever I was listening to at the time, just very motivated to get that bass because it was awful. It's a terrible job.
listening to like just bass solos while you're picking corn.
Yeah, well, I was really into Primus, so definitely.
Perfect.
I was definitely listening to a lot of Primus and whatever, probably some bad new metal stuff too around that time.
Everybody did.
A lot of System of a Down's first album had just come out, so I was listening to that a lot.
Did you do you remember your first like band name and your first sort of gig? Like most people, when I ask this, it's usually like a cover thing at high school. But did you have a band name? And
yeah, well, I played with some friends in high school. We changed our band name a few times, but we never really played a real show. At one point, our band was called, oh shit, you know what? I forget what we called ourselves. But then I joined a band towards the end of high school that started playing real shows. Like our very first show was with Buried Inside.
oh, okay. Oh, cool.
That band was called The Birds.
Okay.
It was like we were trying to be like we weren't very skilled, but we were trying to play like grindcore music, but not well.
Okay.
I think it was like a mixture of like I don't know. It's kind of like orchid-y almost, like orchid sort of like screamo type stuff.
Okay.
But we would like wear masks and shit. It was really stupid.
What kind of
It
masks?
was really.
Oh, I love
we didn't
it.
wear masks at that Buried Inside show, but like early on, we were like, yeah, we'll like wear stupid masks, and the songs were about birds.
Okay.
We were called the Bird. It was really stupid.
Do you still have recordings of that
Somewhere.
somewhere? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, there's probably a CDR kicking around in a box.
But you know, you do that type of shit when you're young. It's always unnerving when there's like grown ass dads, you know, pulling that shit. I remember we played in Baltimore at Sidebar. That's that bar that's in The Wire. You ever watch The Wire?
Yeah.
So the cop bar that they go to all the time, it's called
Cool.
the Sidebar, and that's where our gig was. And we played with this like industrial metal band that were all like dads, and the buddy had like welding goggles and like an electronic kit, but a very shitty electronic kit. Like it would have been fine if it was like young kids opening up for Buried Inside, but these were like, you know, 10
Right.
years from retiring type shit dads.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. You got to go
That's
through that
cool.
shit when you're young, right? So you're not doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not like Cellos
Yeah,
shows
so
up with masks.
That same group, there was 3 of us. We did the bird stuff, and I was like, man, why don't we play some slow stuff? Because we're not really skilled enough to be pulling off like these blast beats and this crazy shit. So we changed our name to Elk, and then we started writing stuff like we were really into Pelican around that time. So like slower, melodic, kind of heavy stuff.
Okay.
Pelican, like ISIS, sort of like Celestial era ISIS type stuff. But also we weren't playing that very well either. But we were definitely better at that than we were at the fast metal stuff.
And that was Dave wasn't in that band, was he?
No, this was some other folks that don't play music anymore. Well, one of them, so the drummer from that band, his name is Kevin Romaine. He's an incredible drummer. He lives in Vancouver and he plays with a bunch of different groups, but he's like a really good, skilled, very well-trained jazz guy.
Okay, cool.
Giller, really good drummer.
Shout out
he was good. He was good then, but he's like incredible now. Like, I mean, and that was when we were all like 18, 19. So
Were you a kid that woodshedded? Like you were sitting like noodling and like
no,
put that practice in?
No, I don't really like practicing, so
You know, me
I
neither.
never really did. I've always been more interested in like writing stuff. So if I play guitar, it's to like write some riffs. It's never to practice something.
Well, like it's the practicality of some of the stuff that where do you apply a sweep or, you know,
Yeah,
some of that. Like I could be doing a lot more practice to be flavoring my stuff a lot more, but like I just really need to be able to like hit my single strokes. Like it's probably like you, like you just need to.
yeah.
You don't need to.
I'm not like, we don't write fancy music. It's pretty like cavemanish usually. So we don't really like well, you know, when I was actually a guitar instructor, that I had to teach myself things like
I guess yeah.
arpeggios and sweeping and stuff. So that made me a better player for sure. But I don't ever play any of that stuff on my own. Like if I just had a couple students that were really good and into like tech metal, and they'd be like, "Can you teach me this song?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. That's really hard. I'll try." So I learned some very sort of rudimentary like sweep picking patterns, but I don't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah. How often are you guys jamming? Like a couple times a week or?
Well, like Dave just had his baby 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Today's
Holy
the first
fuck.
time we've been together for about, maybe I want to say about a month. But usually we're a once a week band, and we jam in my house, so it's really nice for me. Dave works out here, so Dave and Vince live in Windsor, so it's about 45 minutes from my place. But Dave works out here in Kingsville, so we jam when he's off work once a week normally.
What do you guys like? How old are you now, Kyle?
I'm 32.
32. Like
Yeah, I'll be 33 soon.
when?
In September.
September. What do you like looking ahead? Like I don't know. Do you have some sort of plan? Like I feel like it's kind of like me, where it's just like, well, I'm just gonna release stuff and play when I can. Like
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Like we just really want to write stuff that we like and then put it out there. That's it. Pretty basic.
whatever. Was that when you guys did that shit with us? That was your first time out, like in Montreal and
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah, with that band. Yeah, we go up to Toronto, GTA, like a couple times a year at least. Like for a little while, we were in Toronto pretty often, like probably every 2-3 months, maybe,
Okay.
for a couple of years there. But now, yeah, a couple times a year. So we never go into the States, just GTA, this area.
Yeah, the States are. It's well, people who do it illegally. I just am not that bold. Maybe it's not a big deal, but
We could probably get away with it now because Vince has dual citizenship, so
Oh,
he
cool.
could go over and take gear, and then we could meet him. We'd still have to lie, like it wouldn't be legal, but it would be easier to sneak over now.
are you a good liar?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Is that
I
a
don't
lie?
think so.
Are you lying right now?
I don't know. I don't think so, actually.
I don't think
I have
am
a pretty
either.
good poker face, but I get really nervous if I know I have to make something up.
I grew up like 30 minutes, 20 minutes from the U.S. border, and like I have a storied past about like the border and my family. So I always get sketched out when we cross, even legally.
Yeah.
I would never be able to lie about crossing the border. I just couldn't. It's too sketchy.
It's pretty nerve-wracking. Like I cross often because all the good shows come over to Detroit. So, and there's really cool restaurants and stuff. Like Detroit's a really cool place. It's one of the neatest things about living in this area is having access to that city right now. Because it's totally hopping. There's new cool places opening up all the time and great bands coming through. So I cross often, like probably every couple of weeks.
Oh shit! Wow.
And it's still a little bit nerve-wracking. Like it's a mean environment.
Yeah, it's in. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. I haven't done the States for years, and I'm kind of like fine with it. You know, it's hilarious, dude. When me and Mark went to Europe earlier this year, the customs there, like, you don't need any paperwork. You just
Right.
What are you doing? We're on tour. Oh, have a great time, and like,
Yeah.
it's all jokes. It's ridiculous, man. It's fucking
Yeah, it's really needlessly like angry here
Oh, man.
crossing over there. Like they're just so angry all the time.
There's a show.
I actually got away with crossing recently with the wrong passport though.
What? How?
I had my friend's passport. So my friend Josh, the Harbor House Josh, he and I went to see Pyle. It's about a month ago in Detroit, and then I drove. He was the passenger, and he took my passport by accident and left his in my armrest. And then I didn't actually. It was stupid of me. I didn't check, but I crossed 2 days later and just grabbed it out of there. And so I was already in Detroit, like waiting in line for customs, and I opened it. I was with a friend of mine. I'm like, oh shit! It's like I don't have my passport, man. It was like, yeah, it was really embarrassing. I felt bad because he had invited me to go see. We went to go see Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall. He did a Buddy Cole show.
Okay, cool.
Just doing Buddy Cole for an hour. It was awesome, but I hadn't planned on going. He just invited me. He had an extra ticket, or we got like a guest list spot for it, and so I was like, "Fuck, man, I'm so sorry. Like, if they turn us around, like, just go, like, just cross again. I'll figure it out. It's fine." But they actually let me through. It wasn't even a big deal. So all this shit, it's all just like posturing, because you don't need your passport. This guy was just like, he looked at my driver's license and was like, "All right." I'm like, okay.
So so coming in, you told the dude like, I don't have it?
Yeah, I was just like, hey, I'm sorry, I screwed up. I have my friend's passport because I just crossed the other day and he took mine. I didn't realize we had mixed them up, and he was just like, yeah, all right, well, let me see your ID.
Someone put it like, sometimes it feels like the U.S. border is like mall security. It's just like Yeah, and you 20
get
different
some of them
stories
who are like, trying to practice being a cop.
I guess.
And they're, mean mugging you for whatever. But this guy was just a nice, normal guy and let us through. I had a harder time getting back over into Canada though.
Without
they wanted to keep the passport that I had, because they were like, this could be like, identity theft or human trafficking, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, man, I have all this Ontario ID. Like,
yeah.
Please don't keep my friend's passport. He's gonna fucking kill me if you do.
Oh fuck, man! It's I laugh at some of the things that, and like that's going to a show, but just some of the stuff you'll put yourself through, especially when you're younger, just to go play a shitty gig. If you don't know it's a shitty gig, you hope it's a good gig, but so much bullshit to go play generally shitty gigs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What a bummer.
One of my old bands, we were called Orphan Choir. We used to play over in the States once in a while, and we snuck over, and it was really nerve-wracking then. And I was 19 or 20 years old, and I was just like, I'd be freaking out a little bit. We crossed over. We always found that the border at Fort Erie or Buffalo, that area, was a much easier crossing experience. Mm-hmm. Like, we would cross over there with gear. And I don't know how we got away with it, but we did. It was really stupid in hindsight, because it would have sucked to be. They give you like a 5 or 7 year ban,
something like that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I used to worry. Like, we always got P2s, and it would be such a blow. I mean, like, we have to hit these markets in the States. Like, yeah. I'm kind of glad to be over all that shit. Actually, in general, like, I'm enjoying music more now than I ever have, because there's not so much at stake. Like, I just want to release good music. I truly just want to do that. If I could never play another show again, as long as I could still make music, that's important. Like, how about you? Like, if you could only release versus how big is the performing part important to you?
Well, I'm probably in the same boat as you, I would say. I'm much more interested in recording, writing interesting music, trying to challenge myself creatively. The performing part is like, it's good, and it's in a different way though. It's like exercise or something, I guess. But it doesn't fulfill me creatively to play shows, especially around here. Like, we're just kind of playing to our friends, and it's fun. You can make a fun night of it. Really, kind of almost the only reason that we even play locally is if we are playing with a band we like, just to try to support them. Because we're just like, everyone, once you get into your 30s, like, people have kids and lives and stuff, and it's hard to get people out, and that's just the way it is.
Totally.
There's not a lot of young bands around here, unfortunately. I really wish there were. There are a few, but there are almost no like new young heavy bands for us to play with. So there's no new people coming out to shows. So that's the kind of unfortunate thing. I don't know if that's going on everywhere, but it's a big issue here. There's just no young bands.
Yeah, well, shit, you need that for sure to get those excited kids who are first starting to go to shows and you know, kind of like pass the torch, because you were that young kid. I was that young kid going to shows and being mad excited and moshing. Remember moshing?
Yeah. Oh, it was the best, man.
I remember I saw Sepultura once in Duluth, Minnesota, and like I never really do circle pits or mosh in general, but it was one of those like, I remember like I was at the back getting a water or something, and they started some song and just like jumping in the pit, and thinking of that now is like, no fucking way, no way.
Yeah, no, I stay away from that stuff.
Yeah, I could get hurt.
Yeah, I used to love it though. I would do like full on ninja kicks and arm spinning windmill bullshit.
Really?
Like a Give It All video.
Man,
there was a really good like all ages hardcore scene in Windsor when I was a teenager, and I was all about it. I was super into all that.
I remember the first time I saw hardcore dancing. I grew up in this small town of like 1,000 people, like west of Thunder Bay, like nothing happening there, and I saw some kids. And I honestly, it sounds, I don't know how it might sound rude or whatever, but I thought like, oh, this guy, like maybe he's like mentally handicapped or something, because I'd never seen it before. I was like, I don't understand this at all. What is going on?
Yeah, it's super weird.
Like I thought there was something wrong with the dude. Like, you know, just yeah, never did that.
Yeah, it looks really funny to see people doing that. Yeah, just recorded video it makes me laugh.
I get it now,
but I was all about it. I even practiced in front of the mirror a few times, I'm pretty sure.
Sick. Fuck yeah, man. Like
early 2000s, I was all about the windmill, man. That was my thing.
Did you have a white belt? I feel like that was like part of the scene at the time.
Yeah, I had a white belt, totally.
Yeah.
I had a white belt. Yeah, I was really into like, well, I still am, but like when Jane Doe came out and like Botch his last record and that stuff, that was my shit. And it still is really good stuff. But I like some kind of lame stuff too. Like I was really into Poison the Well when that was a thing.
Okay.
That hasn't aged well. But I did a lot. I moshed so hard that I puked at a Poison the Well Hatebreed show in Detroit.
Just this kid off to the side.
And I also lost my wallet that night from moshing so hard.
Oh, the days, man. That shit's fun though. That shit's like,
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, like I don't know. I never. When I remember when I moved to do music, it really felt like I was joining something, like a real community that I'm sure other people have, be it, you know, athletics or, you know, certain people like really go hard with like the whole family life and join Facebook groups for family type stuff. But yeah, it was really, and even this, man, this is an extension of that. Just talking to people who experience the same thing, you know, like we grew up, we're similar in age and we grew up totally different places, but the experience is still the same.
Yeah. Where did you move? Like what was your scene when you were a teenager?
Fuck, man, nothing. It was just us. So the town I grew up in, super small town, like 4 hours west of Thunder Bay, 4 hours east of Winnipeg. So in the middle of nowhere. And we were like the only band. I remember we booked Chore, like Dave Dunham's old band. Yeah. We booked Chore. Yeah. Chore came to our town. Fuck the Facts came to our town.
Awesome. What was the town?
Fort Francis.
Okay.
Do you remember a band called Miko or Nico, maybe? There was a band called Ghosts of Modern Man. Do you remember them?
Yeah. I remember them.
So those guys came?
They were on that record label. Fuck, what is it called?
G7?
I forget.
Welcoming Committee?
No.
Ghost of Modern Man.
I remember Ghost of Modern Man.
But yeah, that was just us, our little weird. We were like our guitar player really liked Primus, so our band was like kind of Primus-y.
Okay, cool.
Type shit, but yeah, it was there was nothing happening. I remember we used to flyer. I used to make the flyers. That's kind of how I learned how to like Photoshop making flyers. And I remember when Chore came, I was pushing heavy, and it was a big deal. I was like, as seen on Much Music on like all the flyers because they had a video for, I think that was when Coastline Fire was coming out.
Okay.
You ever get into those guys, Chore?
A bit. Like I remember watching their videos. Like,
They're fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it in a long time, but I liked that stuff when I was that age.
It's really
Totally.
good. This might, well, in a way, and it might be the vocals. It kind of reminds me of Kowloon Walled City in a way, in a little way.
Okay, cool.
It's like
Yeah,
pretty cool
I
shit.
should go back and listen to that. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's a good record, the Coastline Fire, man.
Cool.
What else? I had a few more things to ask. Checking my stuff. I try to make this not too inside, behind the curtain type shit. Not that there's anything to really see behind the curtain, but I'm excited that the split's coming out, man. I'm excited you guys are coming up. I'm bummed I'm going to miss you guys. But I'll be seeing you soon.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, we'll see you in Windsor here, so that'll be cool.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And I wanted to play a track. I'll do like the Hibzine thing where I play a track off of... I guess I can't play anything off the split yet, right? There's nothing out yet.
Not yet.
Okay,
no.
that's okay. I wanted to play. I wrote it down? Again, I'm terrible with the song titles, but "Ghosts in the Sky." Yeah, that one.
Sure, yeah, man.
Off
That's
the
a
last
live
record.
staple.
Oh, it's so good, man. I remember in Montreal, Cormier was beside me, and it was coming up where it's like, and then it kind of goes into the groove.
Yeah.
And he was like ribbing me, like, this is my favorite part.
It's fun to play. It's an easy one, so we pretty much always put it into the set list.
It's so good, man. So I'll put it in right here. I'll edit it after the fact, but this is Ghosts in the Sky off the Great Leap Backwards by Cellos, right here. was that.
Awesome.
So the record comes out the split comes out July 19th that weekend.
Yep.
Okay. $20 for the 7-inch, right?
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
I hope not. I think we're going with 10. I think that'll work well. Hopefully people aren't like upset by that or whatever. I don't really care anyways. But.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine. And I don't know, how else do people find you? Like just cellos.bandcamp, right? Yeah.
Yeah, our Bandcamp is the best spot, really. Like we have all the social media too, but like, yeah, I don't know, whatever. It's the same shit on all those things, but Bandcamp has merch and music, so I always prefer it.
Cool. You know what I found is with Bandcamp, like they take a good chunk of of digital sales. Like they don't touch,
yeah, they do.
They don't touch the physical, but like as far as the Sabs, like the last record did really good as far as our expectations of what we'd pre-sell and it still sells, but like
yeah.
You don't really realize it until you're actually selling things that like Bandcamp actually takes a good chunk of shit.
Yeah, they do. It's a good service, but I mean it costs a bit, obviously. It's nice that you can have it as a band and not have to pay a fee.
True.
A label Bandcamp, they actually do charge you a fee, so we haven't even made a Harbor House one because there's really no point because it's just kind of for cellos anyways.
Yeah.
But Bandcamp's been good. It's really helped us a lot, actually. We do pretty well on Bandcamp.
You know, and what the alternate is to, host your own site, but it's hard to get people to, like Bandcamp,
Yeah.
It's like the MySpace of now, you know what I mean? Like people just know, like, what's your Bandcamp,
Yeah, exactly.
More likely to check that out. But okay, sweet. So the record's going to come out. There's some shows, the 19th in Toronto, the 20th in Montreal, right?
20th in Montreal, yeah. And then a week later, on the 27th, we're actually in Waterloo. We're playing at Starlight.
Fuck. Wait, July 27th?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. I'm gone for that too.
That's a band called Hawkeyes from there.
Mm-hmm.
Their LP release party. So that'll be a good one too.
Fuck me.
Not of is not on that one, but
well, I have people who listen who are from there. That's at where is it? Sorry, Chainsaw.
Starlight. I think it's called. Yeah, okay. Starlight. Yeah.
Okay. Cool, man. Cool. I don't think there's anything else to really drop. That's it, man.
Awesome.
Thank you for doing
Thanks,
this.
Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
You. All right, there we go. That was the episode 275. Basically, what I did, I just didn't want to be like, hey, man, all right, see you later, and awkwardly just hang up on him. So we had a little convo after that. But yeah, if you guys are around, go check out this band. This band is fucking amazing. Cellos are so good. See them with Hawkeyes at Starlight, I believe, or in Toronto at the Baby G with Lilum and Not Of. And support dudes who are just trying to make good music. These guys are one of those bands. They make amazing music. So let me shout out the sponsors here real quick. We have Brewed Biscuits, all natural spent grain pet treats. Find them at 2spentgrains.ca. Find them on Instagram for your all natural pet treats. Heartbeathotsauce.com for your hot sauce, delicious hot sauce. Probably the best hot sauce you'll ever have. It's just good. I was at, where was I? Lone Star, some restaurant. And they had hot sauce there. And I opened it up and smelled it. And it's just vinegar. It's just like red vinegar. This is not that. This is a delicious sauce, hot sauce. You'll love it. Heartbeathotsauce.com. Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. Find him at 3121 King Street East and buy a car from him. Ironcladgraphics.com for your silk screening needs. They ship coast to coast and they are competitive with their pricing. DapperBeardOil.com. Use promo code TakerWide free ship for the free shipping. Save money. And Wellington Brewery for the beers. Again, I was sipping on a rhubarb saison. I have t-shirts. If you guys want to support me that way, just buy them at TakerWide.com. Instagram, TakerWide Podcast. Homepage, TakerWide.com. All that shit. All love to Kyle. All love to Cellos. And you guys have a good week. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay? Bye.